I would never participate or anything, but I got a message asking me to send a performance in, and I did.
Firstly, I removed the negative thought from my mind.
Like I took a lot of small initiatives this week.
Small thing I would like to tell you, Ishija, and everyone else who are trying to take initiatives out here, who really want to know what initiative does to you. It makes you stand out of the crowd. It makes you be noticed. The right kind of initiative, not the initiative to create distractions. But when you do take the right kind of initiatives and you just do small, tiny little things, you do not know, but people on the other side are not waiting for big things to happen. They don't connect with people who do big things, which this is where people go wrong. You know, generally what happens is when you're in a surrounding, people think the most, smart one or the most confident one out there is the one who's going to speak some high flashy words, or who's going to be looking the greatest and the best, or someone who's going to really give out something which stands out in the crowd. No, the person who actually is noticed the most is the one who wants to do those tiny things that no one else pays attention to. You're actually in life, you have no idea, but this is exactly what is happening. Two people are communicating and you're talking about your own thing all the time. You're not talking about what somebody else is talking about. You're talking about your own thing. You're interested in letting people know what you think. You're more worried about whether the other person is understanding you or not. There's so many political leaders out there, but there also were people like Martin Luther King. And there was Mahatma Gandhi in our nation. And there are people like Nelson Mandela. And there are people who like to listen to, who others like to listen to. What is the difference between them and the others? There is only one difference. And that difference is connection. When they talk to people, they build that connection. So now what can you do? How do you do it? You have to understand, where does the word communication itself comes from. The word communication in Latin, it came from the word, listen to me very carefully, because the entire meaning is hidden in this one word. The word communication came from the Latin word communicare, C-O-M-M-U-N-I-C-A-R-E, communicare. And when he writes something in that book, and I want to share that with you, he says, when you're dealing with people, please remember that you are not dealing with creatures of logic. You're dealing with creatures of emotions. We are not logical people who think emotions. We are emotional people who try to apply logic. We are not like born of logic, or logical people who are trying to bring in emotions into different things. We are emotional beings. Emotions matter to us. If something affects us emotionally, we act. If something doesn't impact us emotionally, we don't remember. When there was a study done in Harvard about this, they found a very amazing thing. There is a hormone by the name of oxytocin that gets released in our brain. It's also called the happy hormone. Or when you are in presence of people that you like, that you love being with, and when you shake hands with somebody, you get a very warm hug from someone, you receive a phone call from someone that you've been really waiting for, it turns you into a happy mood. There is a smile all over your face. Or you watch a movie and you connect with that movie, you have that emotion in your heart. What is happening? Oxytocin release. Oxytocin also does one more thing. It helps you build trust. So this is also called your trust hormone. So if you are able to trigger oxytocin in the other person when you are communicating, you are actually activating the trust hormone in the other person, and suddenly you will find that the person wants to listen to you. The person wants to be convinced. the person wants to agree with you. Dialogue, not monologue, which means communicate, find the common ground. Now, what do you do this? How do you achieve this? Start from this question in your head that wherever they live, suppose it's the communication is happening, something like you are sitting with someone and a communication is going on. Somebody said something and over here you have to respond to the other person. Remember the activity that you did? I gave you one condition over there. First, acknowledge the person who spoke last. Then say your own thing, then add your own product. Did I say that to you? Yes? Now this is where you apply the simple same rule. Number one, when someone is talking to you, when someone is communicating with you, I want you to find where they left. The ability for people to build a connect, even if many times you would have seen that there are leaders who are speaking from a huge stage. They have never met that audience before. And still they're able to make a connect with them in no time at all. Like in an instance, and people really start admiring those speakers and they want to listen to them. They want to believe in them. They want to agree with them. How do they do that? How is that possible? How can you build the same connect with the friend that you want to, with your family member, or with any relationship that you want to? So this step is going to help you do that. And that is, just remember the one thing that I said, that we are emotional beings, not logical, who are applying logic. We are not logical beings applying emotions, which means I want you to start understanding that what is the one thing, shift yourself into the other person's shoes immediately if you want to suppose you want to start a communication, or suppose you want to give a mesmerizing speech to a large audience, or you want to give a presentation, or you want to maybe say even in the online sessions, you want to immediately connect with the people out there on the screen. I want you to do this. I want you to shift yourself into the other person's shoes and ask yourself this one question. What is it that the other person wants to happen by the end of this communication? After I'm speaking, what emotion do I want to trigger in this person? I want this person to be bored. I want this person to be excited. I want this person to trust me. I want this person to doubt me. Think about all of it. Shift yourself into their shoes and then ask this question. What do they want? I want you to predict it before even you start the communication. But what does my audience want? If that audience is just one person, maybe your mom. Okay, now shift yourself into her shoes immediately. Suppose there is a very common question that I'm being asked these days, that my friends have already started going out. It's time of COVID-19. My mom doesn't allow. What do I do? Happens with you? Yeah, my friends are meeting up. My parents are not allowing. What do I do? Now, I want you to shift yourself into her shoes instantly and say, why is she saying no? I want you to ask, what is it that she wants after I have this communication with her? What's the end result that she wants? That young people are full of mesmerizing energy in them, and they are not born to waste that energy in the phase that they are most energized, most powerful, most creative, most innovative. At this age, they are supposed to shine out and make a name for themselves, and wherever they go, they're supposed to be admired by the rest of the world. That's what Zenith Mastermind stands for. The word Zenith itself means being on, it's like an imaginary point on top of a mountain. I want you to see yourself over there. Your peak, what's that going to be? The Zenith word is rising to that peak of yours that resides inside of you. That peak that makes you feel that I'm someone who is doing my best to reach that point, that tells me that I'm someone who will never ever give up whatever happens in my way, whatever comes in my way. I'm not someone who's going to give up that easily. I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep rising. Life might bring me down 1,000 times, but about 2,000 times I'm going to rise back up and fight it back and jump back.